days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, right at you. You give me something to believe in, just what I needed. You're the closest.
I have said all I needed to say about Vlad, the guy that sits behind a camera and somehow gets every black person to interview with him and say ridiculous stuff. Very super toxic, divisive kinds of things that he pushes out. And I'm sure he's somebody who also thinks he understands black culture, but got hemmed up when he went after Morgan Jerkins, the professor from Princeton, Rodney Jerkins' niece, and got his whole life had to apologize. Because again, you don't know who you're talking to. Stop it.
Vanilla vulture. I mean, he's a vanilla vulture.
You call him a vanilla vulture? I like that.
Vulture.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I mean, culture vultures who like they there's a lot of these people now, like these white rappers who are making like pro-Trump anthems. There are a lot of these people who were like had some proximity to black people. Kid Rock is a perfect example, right? Had some proximity to black people, used black people as like, I don't know, like the Yoshi. They sacrificed the black people in order to jump higher. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you ever played Mario, that's a Mario reference. You sacrifice Yoshi to jump higher on the pole. Like, that's what these people do. They're sacrificing these other people, and they don't really care what it looks like. And this is when they get hemmed up because they don't, like, I don't know, like what's the the dude that raps with Killer Mike, LP, right? Like he doesn't step out of his lane. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there are people who legitimately understand who Eminem does this to some extent, right? They understand where they are and they don't comment on these things, and they stay in the place that they are in. But then there are these people that just get too comfortable. And I think Vlad he got too comfortable. He thought, like, everybody's watching me. All of hip hop is watching me. So I can say whatever I want. In reality, no, you can't.
Yeah. Okay. I was also thinking Bill Maher's in that category. I would put him in that category too.
Vanilla
license. And I'm going to blame Killer Mike for that as well. But so he got into a back and forth on Twitter with Marlon Wayans because apparently he must have reached out to Marlon Wayans and wanted to interview him. Vlad pays people to interview, by the way. Those of you who don't know this, there's a monetary exchange. So, but it also to me speaks to that we're not as financially secure as we need to be, because we should always say no. Right. But if somebody's waiving $10,000, because that's the going rate that I hear, $10,000 should not be enough for you to trade in or give this man any of your energy. Right. So he asked Marlon.
Credibility. He's paying for credibility.
Yeah, period. And he's off camera. So there's something very, I don't like it. But Marlon Wayans told him his price was $40,000.
Get that back, Marlon.
Yeah, he said it's $40,000. And Vlad, so Vlad, I'll give you the back and forth. All right. So somebody was like, yo, Marlon, somebody was tweeting after seeing the back and forth. There's a little bit of back and forth. I didn't capture all of it. Said Marlon Wayans, this guy named Real Yo D, said, yo, Marlon Wayans, you're a good one, because Vlad would have had to pay me $500,000 for an interview with 55% of all revenue made from the video on all platforms. And Marlon said, see, I tried to tell him I was giving him a deal. Oh, well. So then Vlad jumped in and said, Marlon Wayans found someone with 200 followers to agree with him. LOL. Nobody on earth is going to pay Marlon $40,000 for an interview when he gets 100,000 to 300,000 views on any platform he interviews on. This guy is really delusional. So then Marlon says, you mad? You unprofessional? You unprofessional, my guy. I'm trying to read in his, if you don't like the number, keep it moving. You look bad. You should fall back. Mad at a black man stating his number, and now you go public and use your platform to try to drag me? I never in my life dealt with this silly negotiating tactic. And then Vlad said, not mad at all. I find all of this amusing because you really think that you're worth $40,000 for an interview. I said, there's nobody on earth that will pay you for that amount. And I have yet to be proven wrong. Throwing out a stupid ass number for an interview is unprofessional, my guy. So I guess he thought he was being nasty, because your interviews don't even make 5% of that on every platform you do. And bringing up race when there's was no mention of it throughout all of our conversations, shows how weak of a man you really are. Now, let me just pause. This is me speaking right now. It's always about race. It's always when it comes to worth and value and who gets paid what, that's always on the table, my guy. So then Marlon said, so yes, this has become about race. You're trying to turn us into crabs in a barrel. I see your angle now. I watch you play your hand. You want us to talk shit and beef and tear each other down while you sit back and make money. Meanwhile, you don't even show your face. And it goes on. That part is absolutely true. And it is all about that, because the toxic engagement on social media is what brings in the coin.
Exactly. And people like, I've never, I think I maybe watched like half of an interview or something. Like if there was something going on, I watched like a half of one. I don't think I've ever spent any time. I don't like having notifications or anything, but yeah, like it always rubbed me the wrong way. It just felt slimy. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Everybody listening knows what I'm talking about. You hear something and it doesn't have any, it's kind of like saying ladies at the end of stuff, right? Like, I'm going to take a shower, ladies. All you did was say ladies, but the whole conversation became creepy after that, right? That's how Vlad made me feel.
Well, it's my dream. I have a dream that one day we will not be so financially starved that we have to sit in front of somebody who has absolutely no value to our community at all. It's not bringing anything good in. It's always this divisive, gossipy, horrible kind of content, sitting behind the camera, off camera, without his face being there, but just pointing it at directly at the person. This week alone, I think D.L. Hughley was on. I was so disappointed. D.L. Hughley, Tavis Smiley had to sit down and was talking greasy about Kamala Harris. Why would you do that on a platform like that? Why would you do that, Tavis Smiley? Why would you do that? I haven't watched it, so let me fully disclose. Maybe it was a great interview. Maybe he said loving things, but I didn't. What I'm seeing is that he said not so good things. He had somebody else, Jason Lee, talking about Kanye molesting someone. Like, it's always this pathology. You know, it's that. And I just wish that we would stop making. And he makes millions of dollars a month off of our content, right? Millions. And I know this for a fact because he's been on YouTube a very long time. He's one of the first adopters.
What's the family in that lived outside of the institution in Invisible Man? What they call the True Bloods? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh no, you taking me back.
Yeah,
so like, literary on
there's a family outside of that, right? And he's not supposed to, like, the protagonist is not supposed to show him those people, right? He's supposed to drive by and not show him, but he ends up showing the trustee that, and it just changes the whole aspect of the conversation. And then the founder is angry with him. I think it's like I think that's what people like Vlad do. They show us that those people, the people in the cabin we're not supposed to be talking about, like basically showing a representation of Blackness that is not typical, but can be seen, but can confirm these other racist stereotypes.
Yes. And that's the battle, you know, and even battling us, you know, the last on Friday, we were talking about Ruben, the guy that went to the Breakfast Club and said, you know, this is what I hate about Black culture. Y'all don't stick together. And I'm like, when have you been in Black culture? Because you hang out with Meek Mill and some rappers. You think that that's Black culture? Yeah. You know, that's the problem. You know,
it's like, so angry.
Stop it. Stop it.
You can see me, I'm bald and I'm pulling my hair out. Like, I hate that whole idea about like Black culture being a monolith, because it's not a monolith. And it's like saying that white people in the Bronx do the same thing as white people in Mississippi. They do not, right? And Black people in the Bronx and the Black people in Mississippi, we have some things this is the idea, right? This is those people that get on Instagram and they're those white people who are like culture vultures, who are using, you know, like AAVE when they're talking, but they sound like generic Black people from television. They don't sound like Black people from Baltimore or Black people from Florida. They sound like generic Black people. And it just like drives me, I hate that. Makes me want to reach through the television and choke somebody.
Yeah. Or let's just show up more and stop going on these programs and stop letting people define us and start writing our own stories and stop the pathology ourselves and parroting being drag queen versions of ourselves. And I'm saying that not to undermine drag queens, because I think they're dope. But, you know, I always say that, you know, women in corporate America try to act more like the way men act instead of coming in like their full selves. Like Kamala Harris wiping Jasmine Crockett's tears is a nurturing, womanly thing to do. And it doesn't make her any less of a leader. She's being her full self. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We nurture. We should nurture everywhere we are, if that's our nature.
My days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, right at you. You give me something to believe in, just what I needed. You're the closest.